in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of a tequila that was just designated as the best tasting tequila in the world. It's Don Vicente Tequila, right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of Don Vicente Tequila. Today we have the Blanco, which you see here. We have the Reposado, which you see here. And the Extra Anejo, which you see here. All provided by the brand for a review. So we're going to give that to you. On a note for the title of this thing, on what I said in the intro, this tequila was just recently awarded the world's best tequila by an organization called the Tasting Alliance during the Tasting Alliance World Championships. Now, I have no idea who the Tasting Alliance is, never heard of them, and I've been doing this for a little while, so I normally hear of all the good competitions and stuff, but I've never heard of the Tasting Alliance. But we're going to do a tasting review of this, and I'm going to tell you whether I think it's the best tasting tequila in the world or not, and we'll go from there. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's talk about how this tequila is produced. All right, Don Vicente Tequila comes out of NOM 1579, which is run by my good friend Felipe Camarena, master distiller, crazy inventor. He's just a magician with what he does with tequila. And of course, he produces such brands as G4 and Terralta out of the same distillery. Great master distiller. I always love what he does. And everything that he does right. He doesn't use additives. So with this tequila, the agave that he uses are all grown on his estate. He's an agavero too. He grows his own agave. They are cooked in brick hornos. And then after they're done cooking in the brick hornos, he then uses a taona to crush the agave fibers and extract the sugars out of the agave fibers. And then it is fermented in stainless steel tanks. And then after it is done fermenting in stainless steel tanks, it is then twice distilled using copper pot stills and then bottled at 40% alcohol by volume. For the aged expressions, they're barreled, and we'll go over the barrel aging on those when I am done doing the Blanco and ready to do the tastings on the Repo. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the tasting portion and see what this is all about. All right, so let's take a look at the Blanco first. Whenever you look at a tequila line, you should always taste the Blanco first, because the Blanco is going to be the true bloodline of the tequila line, and you can't hide any flaws in a Blanco. Where aging is a great way to hide flaws in your Blanco, and you can make not so good tequila taste better with wood aging. So this tequila, we're going to go ahead and take a look at now. They use deep well water for this one, and I love the deep well water they uses. He's got a well that he's dug over 400 feet deep that he pulls the water out of, and it's got all those rich minerals and stuff in it. It's the one he uses in Terralta, and it really provides a complex flavor profile. So looking at this in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. Look at the legs and tears coming down the side of the glass. Looks amazing. Looking at the Blanco itself in the glass, crystal clear, just exactly what we want to see. Little dashes of light flickering around in it. Looks amazing. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Really nice, sweet cinnamon notes. Baking spices in there too, so that's that cooked agave note that's coming through is just wonderful. A nice minerality to it. You can definitely pick up some of the minerals on it. A hint of citrus. It's very sweet and almost fruity on the nose, which is really nice. I like that a lot. So let's see what we get on the flavor profile. This is my first sip, so I do have to acclimate my mouth to alcohol. So just give me a second here. You always want to do that when you're going to be judging an alcohol like a tequila, 40% tequila. Get your mouth acclimated first, and then after you things settle down, then go in for your tasting. All right, we're ready to go. Salud. Really nice silky mouthfeel on it. Coats the mouth beautifully. Really nice cooked agave notes coming through. So like sweet cinnamon and baking spices up front. A little hint of chocolate in there as well. Little hint of citrus in there. It's really got this nice ripe fruit note that comes through on it, but then also has a hint of pepper in it as well. The pepper leaves a little heat on the end of it too, which is nice. It's not like really rough, but it has a little heat in there, just kind of enhance the flavor profile. This is a nice Blanco. I enjoy it a lot. Is it the best tasting Blanco I've ever had? It's not the best I've ever had in the world. So I wouldn't give this the world's best Blanco, but this Blanco is definitely enjoyable. And if you're somebody who enjoys a really tasty Blanco with lots of the beautiful cooked agave notes to it, this would be a great choice for you. All right, so that's the Blanco. Let's take a look at the Repo next. All right, so just as I was finishing up on that Blanco, I did pick up a little hint of bitterness on the finish on that, which is fine. It's just a kind of an anise bitterness that kind of offsets some of the sweetness from the cooked agave, which is normal, and it kind of balances out the tequila. But if you're somebody that doesn't like that kind of bitterness note that comes on it, then this may not be a good choice for you. If you're okay with it and you like the way it balances out the cooked agave, then this will be a great Blanco for you. All right, so let's take a look at the Reposado. Now, the Reposado is rested for less than a year in ex-Dickel bourbon barrels. So, if you're somebody that likes Dickel bourbon, you may enjoy what they do there at El Pendillo, because the primary barrels they use are Dickel barrels. They are experimenting with some other ones, and I talked to Felipe about doing some special projects and stuff for the collective, and so he's up for it. So we'll see what happens. So looking at this in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. Looks amazing. Color on this is kind of a light straw color. Just a little bit of color to it, not much, because the Dickel barrels that he does use, they're experienced Dickel barrels where they've been aged for 25 years for the bourbons and stuff they use. So there's not a whole lot of color left in them, but you'll get some of the Dickel bourbon flavor in it as well. But looking at the tequila, it's crystal clear, little dashes of light in there. Let's see what we get on the nose. Definitely getting some cooked agave notes from it, some vanilla, a little hint of caramel on it. Kind of a sweet, ripe fruit note in there as well. Almost kind of like a cherry, like a Bing, more like a Bing cherry than a maraschino cherry. Little hint of like a pear in there as well. Nice fruity notes that come through, and then this vanilla and caramel and even a little bit of dark chocolate are coming through on the nose. It smells wonderful. It smells really nice. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Salute. Coats the mouth beautifully. Nice sweet cinnamon note up front, followed by a nice vanilla note. Really nice vanilla notes that come through, and then a hint of caramel on the end. And then on the very finish, a little hint of bittersweet chocolate on the finish on it. This is a really nice Reposado. Definitely enjoyable. For those that like repos with a good agave presence, this would be a good option for you. Very easy to drink. A lot of the heat and burn that I was getting a little bit from the Blanco is non-existent in the Repo. It's very easy to drink, super enjoyable. I could definitely enjoy this with a good stogie. There is a little, still that bitterness note is still there on the finish. But otherwise, it's a really enjoyable Reposado. All right, so that's the Reposado. Let's take a look at the Extra Anejo next. All right, so now let's move on to the extra anejo. Now this extra anejo, of course, is aged for over 3 years using used American white oak bourbon barrels. We'll pour a little bit in the glass here. So it's the same type of thing, Dickel barrels, and if you notice the color on this is still kind of light for a 3-year extra anejo, and it's because a lot of the char and stuff was used up in the Dickel when they were aging the Dickel, so there's not a whole lot of color left in it, so it still gets some color, and that's typical for El Pandillo when he's using the Dickel stuff to get a lighter colored tequilas. So looking at this in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. Look at the legs and tears on that. Look at that. So it's going to have a nice, silky, viscous mouthfeel to it. Looking at the tequila itself, it is more of a deeper straw color. Crystal clear, little dashes of light in it. Looks amazing. All right, let's see what we get on the nose on this one. Definitely some beautiful cinnamon notes up front, sweet cinnamon, which is what you want. You want the agave to still be present when nosing and tasting a extra añejo tequila, but definitely some sweet cinnamon notes and baking spices present and up front. A richer vanilla note coming through, some caramel, almost like a really sweet rock fruit type of note coming through on it, almost like I'd even say even like an apricot, like a really ripe apricot that's maybe even dried, because they even present a little sweeter when they're dry. Hint of caramel, and of course picking up a little bit of chocolate on it as well. It smells wonderful. It smells like a wonderful extra añejo. All right, let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Salud. Coats the mouth beautifully. Really nice, silky smooth mouthfeel to it. Sweet cinnamon note up front. Vanilla comes right after it. Little hint of caramel right after that. Nice kind of ripe pear note coming through on this one. So it's like a sweet, light fruit note. Not as heavy and profound as like a ripe apricot would be, but more of a lighter sweet fruit note like pear, followed by a little hint of bitterness, almost like a bittersweet chocolate note on the finish. This is a really nice extra añejo. Definitely could enjoy this. Really easy to sip, no heat to it at all. I could sit and enjoy this with a really nice stogie. This could work as an afternoon sipper as well as after dinner. Really nice all around extra añejo. I highly recommend it. So how would I rate this brand? I'd give the whole brand, I'd say 4.5 agaves for the brand. It's really good brand. It's not the best I've ever had, but it's fantastic. Definitely enjoyable. Definitely something I would keep on my shelf. I highly recommend it. If you haven't tried it, pick some up and try it. I think you'd enjoy it too, especially if you like really good additive-free tequila done by a master craftsman like Felipe Camarena. This would do it. Now, how would I rate this as far as El Pandillo tequilas go? I would rate this as probably my second favorite tequila out of El Pandillo after G4. So there you go. If you guys like the information I shared in this video, make sure you click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you're new to the channel, bienvenido, welcome. We're glad to have you. We're glad you found us. And we hope that you'll click that subscribe button right there and the notification bell next to it, so you get notified every time we post a review video, as well as informational videos that will help guide you on your agave journey, so you're picking great, well-made tequilas and will enjoy the flavor experiences that are given to you by these great spirits. And until next time, like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila. So if you want to pick up Don Vicente Tequila, I say go for it. It's really enjoyable, and I think you'll enjoy it. And until next time, salud. Bye, guys.